Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Behind the Reel podcast. Tonight we've got a special guest here, Mr. Andrew Nordbye from Fishing with Nordbye, somebody that I really enjoy watching on YouTube. I'm sure a lot of you guys do as well. And he is fishing the MLF Pro Circuit here this year, and he just got back from Okeechobee, getting ready to hit the next one, and going to be definitely cheering him on throughout the year. And he'll be giving us an insight on his YouTube channel along the way. So make sure you guys are following along there. And I did just want to make a real brief announcement here on if you guys want to get kind of involved in the conversation, we do have that live comment feed over there on the right-hand side of the screen. So just make sure you guys put any of your comments over there as we go along, and we will get to those just as quick as we can. And excited to have him on the show tonight. And I did also want to mention that tonight's video brought to you by a local club sponsor, Biz Baits and True South Lures. Really awesome sponsors for the Air Capital kayak anglers and the Kansas kayak anglers over the years. So if you guys have any soft plastic needs, they've also have some really nice jigs and spinner baits and terminal tackle as well. So go check those guys out. And if you're interested in a discount code, just give me a shout and I just might be able to hook you up with something. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring Andrew on. And do me a favor, guys, if you can, share this, your local fishing forums that you're a part of, share this video with a buddy. That way we can get just a little bit more interaction while we are live. I'm going to go ahead and bring Andrew on. Hey, what's up, man?
Hey, how you doing, John?
Good. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing well.
You just kind of running all over the place. I told somebody today that I was running around like a chicken with my head cut off.
Yes.
That's like is that a Midwest term or?
I think so. Yeah.
So for those of the viewers here that maybe haven't seen you before or aren't super familiar with the YouTube side of things, maybe just tell them briefly about kind of how you got to where you are, and then where you're at with your tournament fishing career as well.
Okay, sure. Thanks. Yeah. So I grew up in St. Joseph, Missouri, went to college at Northwest in Maryville, Missouri. And it's always been my dream since I've been 3 to be a professional bass fisherman. That's just the passion God's given me. And my grandma has a note when I was 4 years old. Wow. That she wrote down and said, I said I wanted to be a professional bass fisherman, put this date on it, and she signed it. And she passed away when I was about 12. But yeah, so it's just always been my passion and something the Lord instilled inside of me. But I didn't grow up with a boat or anything. Dad and I were always john boat fishing, float tubing, pond fishing. And then in college, I joined the college team, and I bought my first boat freshman summer in college in 1989, fiberglass bass tracker, and took that thing all over the country fishing college events from north of Wisconsin to Alabama, Kentucky, and got to learn a lot and fish Mazingo Lake a lot. And after college, I bought an 18-foot Stratos that I jumped into the Costa series with, the Pro Opens. Mm-hmm. And the past 6 years, I spent fishing the Costas, or Toyotas is what they are now. Mm-hmm. And last year, I qualified for the Pro Circuit finally. So now we are up to fishing the MLF Tackle Warehouse Circuit, which is the old FLW tour back before MLF bought out FLW.
That's big stuff, man.
Thank you.
So did you say 4?
6 years fishing the Pro.
Or no, did you say you were 4 years old when you said you wanted to be?
Yeah. I say 3, but she signed, and that note was from when I was 4. Yeah.
Wow, that's wild. Now, okay, so I did have a question written down here, and I was curious. Maybe you just answered it, but what did you think that path looked like? Did you always think that path was going to be like, you probably wouldn't have envisioned that it looks like it does now? Like, you just thought you were going to sign up to be a professional angler and that's just how it worked. But how did you envision it versus how did it really shake out?
Yeah. So I just envisioned somehow it'd be awesome to fish professional tournaments. I watched them on TV, watch Roland Martin, Bill Dance, Hank Parker, just all of the good old boys, Shaw Griggs, but all their TV shows they had, and I just wanted to do it, and I always just said professional bass fishing, and I just envisioned uh, really just fishing full time and doing tournaments,
Yeah.
um, and it is a lot more behind the scenes than that, but it's to that point now, so it's
Yeah.
rewarding.
Yeah. And so obviously you're willing to put in the work and make the sacrifices to get to that point, but you didn't just one day, join the pro circuit, so you've had to do things like, um, maybe tell some of the people, like, I'm sure your YouTube stuff is, it's gotten to the point where I'm sure it's helping fund some of this stuff. And
Yeah,
then also uh, you've got a cool thing going on down there, with your tiny homes. Maybe tell people about that. And
sure.
maybe if they have an opportunity to come down there and fish, maybe they can, check that place out as well.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I'd love to have them. We Yeah, so as far as making it happen, it's just kind of a day-to-day striving towards your goal, whatever that may be, one step towards it. It's not even close to an overnight thing. It takes a lot of effort, a lot of planning, and a lot of pursuing. And I still work a full-time job, John. Fortunate enough to work from home, and they're allowing me to uh, work mornings and evenings some to fish the pro circuit. They're letting me hang on to it this year, being on the pro circuit. But they've also let me have enough time off to fish the pro opens the last 6 years too. Big blessing. So it used to be an office job, and then I started working from home, which freed us up to move here in Alabama, and we came down to Lake Gunnersville here, my wife and I, and we didn't know anybody. We just kind of moved. We felt like this is where the Lord wants to be. We had peace. She wanted warmer weather. I wanted better bass fishing, and we came. And we've been here about 3.5 years, and we were looking for a fisherman rental to kind of do just a Airbnb, and we ended up finding this building that used to be an old water bottling facility, and we put an offer in, and uh, got opened every door. We ended up turning it into a wedding venue, and then this past year we were able to build 14 little luxury tiny homes on the property, and it's got a trophy pond, and it's 3 boat ramps within a few minutes uh, on Gunnersville. It's right next to the state park. The
Wow.
the state park land surrounds it actually, so it's amazing.
Yeah. That that is pretty incredible. That kind of brings me up to this other thing that I wrote down here, and that was, how does, where did I put that? I don't remember how I worded it. How does your faith play a part in your success on the water? And then it sounds like off the water, it kind of led you to where you are, and it put you in this opportunity to, like you found this honey hole, right? This
Right.
place that you have now. I mean, everything that you just described to me seems like if you could have drawn up the perfect place, like it would have been that.
Yeah, it's nothing we ever imagined or envisioned. Or my wife and I, we both come from divorced families since we were three,
Mm-hmm.
paycheck to paycheck, and we never would have dreamed of something like this. God changed my life in high school, and I've been pursuing Him. Try to do it in everything, not just the fishing or just the outside of YouTube or in YouTube. I try to be give 100% everything I do, but do it for the Lord and unto the Lord. Um, but in doing so, He's led us here, and He continues to open doors and do things as we trust Him more. And I have no idea what He's going to do in the future or where we'll be in a year, 5 years from now. I have no idea. We can sit here and put out goals and
Mm-hmm.
a year plan and 5 year, 10 year, but in reality, uh, it's good to have goals, but it's good to let the Lord lead you too. So, I about 5.5 years ago, I started doing YouTube, and I committed to 3 videos a week. I was
Mm,
gonna do it. I went fishing with Ben Milliken, and he
mm,
went
okay.
0 to 70,000 super fast. And I fished tournaments against him, so I had him come down and we ice fished and made some videos. And I started my channel back in January 2018, and I put out 3 videos a week ever since.
Wow.
I took a little break this past year and did 2 a week, but then in November I did one every single day.
I watched every single one of them,
Did
man.
you really?
I did.
Wow.
I
Props
watched
to
every
you,
single
man.
one.
That's a lot.
I did, like, and I think there's something to that, and I think I need to establish some sort of routine, and I notice that I perform the best when I have a routine and I'm like
Yeah,
super disciplined,
sure.
but like you almost kind of train your audience because like I was like, okay, well I'm ready for that next video, and I'm like, how is this
Thanks,
guy
man.
doing it? I was like,
Thanks.
how is he doing a video every single day? And I'm sure it
Yeah, and they
started in
weren't like
October.
short. Yeah, they weren't like short videos like here's how to rig a jig.
No.
They were full on episodes of fishing days, and yeah.
So being able to manage, as you mentioned, your full-time job, being able to film a video every day, editing, is that something that you're doing? Are you having somebody else edit, or is it kind of a mix?
Yeah, I did it about the first 4 years or so, and I was fortunate to find a guy out of high school that offered to kind of do it for me, and he still does it for me. His name's Gentry. He's awesome. He films for Careco, an
Yeah,
outdoor channel and stuff now,
very
but
cool.
very fortunate to still have him editing for me. He's awesome, and he does a great job. So every video you've seen in the past year and a half has been Gentry.
Yeah, and they're great. And his like
Thank you.
B-roll and like the intro, how like it's awesome. So
Thank you. Yeah, I film everything and send it to him. He lives down in Texas. Moved there from Indiana, and he puts it together. He's great. Yeah.
yeah, so doing some stuff with Russell Marine Products and like being around and filming some stuff with them, like the guy that's does a lot of our videos, he's doing stuff on like the outdoor channel, and he does some really cool stuff as well. And those guys really nerd out on some of that stuff, like angles and lighting and like all this stuff. And obviously you're kind of having to give him what he's looking for him to be able to give you that end result. So is that something that you focus out a lot on, like the technical side of filming?
I could do better, but I've done it from the get go and edited it from the get go, so I feel like I have a good sense of the shots I need to get, and sometimes I don't, and we make it work, but uh, definitely filming in a way that people want to watch is a big part of it, and keeping people wanting to watch the full length of the video, or
Yeah.
most of the video helps it do a lot better on YouTube. And if you can do anything to just keep people entertained, it helps too.
And a lot of that can be just having some different angles to switch it up.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
having that, instead of just having this one camera on you, maybe you have a second one that you just kind of cut back and forth
yeah,
between to keep people from clicking that button.
yeah, exactly. That's what I do. I The first year I did YouTube, I only had one GoPro. I did a chesty, filmed
Yeah.
my intros, outros, B-roll with it, and got up to 5,000 subscribers. But since then, I've had 2 camera angles plus a vlog camera and a drone, and tried to provide a little better videos.
Yeah. I would say you're doing a good job of that. What is filming going to look like fishing the MLF events at this capacity? Are you going to be able to film just like you're probably not filming during the events, but filming like your practice and stuff, or
Yeah, so I actually filmed the whole event down at Okeechobee. I
really?
took the time to do it. Yeah, I filmed practice, and on the tournament day, I took the time to do it. I shut the cameras off after about every catch just to make editing easier. And
Hmm.
it is a hassle. It takes time away. It takes casts away. But in the end, it's worth it. It's been worth it. Uh, Fishing the pro opens the past 6 years, I
Yeah.
got paid more from YouTube than I did from the pro opens. So I kind of look at it like that.
Hmm.
Um, it's worth it. I probably have enough time in a day to catch my five, and I'm not doing the the way MLF used to do it, weigh every single fish you catch. Then it'd be a lot more laser focused. But I'm pretty
Yeah.
laser focused. I just take the time to film for everybody.
Yeah. I think that's awesome because people are going to want to see that, and they're going to want to see, how you do throughout the event, and maybe, yeah, even practice stuff, or even, maybe filming some more vlog stuff on the road this year because you're going
Yeah,
to spend a lot of time on the road.
yeah, a lot of time. Yeah. Um, yeah, so Okeechobee just got done. I filmed both tournament days. So I think tonight I dropped my practice day number 3 video on YouTube. So
Okay.
that's live. It went live at 4 p.m. today. And Saturday and Sunday will be both of my first professional tournament days, living the dream out for
Very
the
cool.
first time. Yeah.
Heck yeah, man. I'm looking
Thank you.
forward to checking that one out for sure.
Thank you. Thank you.
And you said so you're going to be going down to Georgia?
Yep, I leave tomorrow for Georgia. We'll be fishing the next pro event on Clark's Hill. And in between these two, Okeechobee and Clark's Hill, I fished a Toyota on Gunnersville.
Mm,
Uh, they got over Sunday. And I finished 18th out of 260 in that one.
wow.
I filmed it all too, so it'll come out after Okeechobee here. Yeah,
And
there'd be
that's
no way
your
to edit anything without Gentry. There's just no time anymore.
Oh yeah. No, no, yeah. Shout out to Gentry. You the real MVP,
Yeah,
as they say.
Gentry Applegate. Y'all follow him on Instagram. He puts out some good content.
Heck yeah. I'm sure he
Yeah.
does. Um, I've got a question for you here. So and I don't know, I'm not looking at your stats here, but it seems like you do really well on your crappie videos as well. Like, have you
Yeah.
sat down and looked at like what do you get maybe more views on, or like where do you gain more viewers at, or like where does the bass versus the crappie kind of rate? Do you see a
Yeah.
difference?
Yeah, I've always paid attention to that and where I get the most views, and seems like I do have more videos that hit with panfish and crappie.
Hmm.
Just I don't know if the market's not as saturated on YouTube, the viewership isn't as
Yeah.
saturated, or if there's more. I know there's more bank fishermen in the world that target crappie and panfish than bass maybe. I'm not totally sure, but they do get a lot of views consistently. But my bass fishing is getting to the point where it's about even. If I put a crappie video out, it gets 3 to 10,000 views. If I put a bass fishing video out, it gets about 3 to 10,000 views. Uh, Once in a while, I'll have a crappie video pop off, but my tournament videos will do better as well. So those kind of pop off versus the everyday fishing video.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I seen now when you're talking about these crappie videos, you got to talk about live scope. You've spent a few years with live scope now, if not more. What do you think about live scope, and how do you change your approach when you're fishing with live scope for crappie versus bass, or does that kind of look similar now?
Yeah, so I get a lot of comments. They're like, "You couldn't catch these fish without live scope," and there's a lot of people who think like that, which
Yeah.
it's true in cases. But I grew up fishing without it. It's natural to not use live scope, but since it's there, I'm gonna use it. Um, and the difference between crappie and bass is pretty big, really. The crappie, I mean, normally, unless you're in the spawn or when they're really moving, you find them stacked up. You pull up, you zoom in on them 30 feet out, and you drop your jig and you watch them bite. It's a blast. It really is. It's addicting. It's fun, and you catch some big ones. Some here on Gunnersville, we get schools of 1,000 crappie on one stump or one current break, and you just pull up and go to town. Some days it's fun.
Yeah.
The bass, like shallow grass here on Gunnersville, I use it more to look for clumps and cast them. You won't even see the fish. Sometimes they'll shoot out of the clump to eat your bait, and you won't even see them on it. So it's a tool to help you find cover and structure on the ledges or out deep or in your rocky lakes. You can see the fish a lot better. I'm sure people have been watching the guys in Texas live scoping the big ones the past year or so. It's been really cool. I've never even fished in Texas, but will be, and it's just
this year for the
see what they're doing.
MLF series. Are you going to be in Texas
Not
at all?
This year, I might do a trip to Texas this year, but I don't have any tournaments there.
Is OHIV going to be the destination, or do you go somewhere?
I don't know. It'd be hard not to go, but I know it's getting pounded right now when it's out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. I believe I will be visiting Lake Fork for the first time ever. I guess I have fished in Texas one time. I can't remember where it was right off the bat, but it was around the Houston area. And I was actually out of town on work, and I had a buddy that lived there, and he said, just, meet me at the ramp, and I'll put you in a kayak, and I've got rods, everything. So we get about halfway across this football-sized field, lily pad, field. And then he said, just keep your hands out of the water. And then I look around, and I was like, why? And he's like, because there's gators in here. And, I'm in this little tiny 10-foot kayak, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, it's probably good you didn't tell me that until just now, because I might not have come out here. But yeah, I caught a few that day, and that was about the extent of it. But but yeah, Lake Fork, we're going to go down there in April for the Swim Bait Universe gathering that they're having.
Nice. That'll be fun, man.
So yeah, see some buddies that I know, and see some people that I haven't ever met in person before. So that'll be kind of a cool deal, and probably buy some big baits.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Is that something that you work much into your tournament rotation? Bigger stuff?
It depends on the time of year and where I'm at. But I don't fish a ton of really big baits. I'll throw the mag spoon. I'll throw a 5 or 6 inch swim bait, but throwing a big old glide or the big jointed swim baits is something that I could improve upon. I did catch about a 5-pounder on a 9-inch glide this summer on a ledge. I let it sink down about 20 feet, and it took about a whole minute. I didn't wait it or anything, and then got the school to fire, and then I was like, oh man, I just figured something out. And because it was like dog days of summer, you got schools of 24 that won't bite anything, and they went nuts over it. Caught one, and for the next 2 months, when I couldn't get them to bite, I'd throw that thing. I never caught another fish on it. So I need some more figuring it out, but
sure.
Yeah, I like them. I love throwing a jig, throwing soft plastics, and I love cranking. I throw really big crankbaits. I'm sure you've seen that.
Yeah.
I love the 25-foot divers. I burn those things.
Yeah, I noticed. I'd imagine that you're a little bit sore after a day of fishing those things.
It'll wear you out. Yeah, your rotator cuffs are like screaming at you.
Now, speaking of tackle and speaking of big baits, it kind of brought me, it reminded me about Baitworks, because they've got some really cool custom swim baits from like KGB, and then, so it kind of reminded me of Baitworks, one of the coolest tackle shops I've ever been in out of Springfield.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Tell me a little bit about them. I know you were up. Is that the one that you were at in Missouri recently when you picked up the new boat?
Yep. So I came up to Baitworks and Boatworks. I'm partnered with both of them. Boatworks out of Tuscaloosa, but it's also in Springfield there. So they wrapped the boat and the truck, and they're helping me this year, and I'm helping them, and we have a good thing going. But they're awesome group of guys. They really have a heart for people. I love that, and they have an awesome tackle shop, like you said, and not just a tackle shop in Springfield. They kind of are like a better tackle warehouse, in my opinion. Like
Yeah,
their online store, bait-works.com. They have everything. They have like one of the largest selections of mega bass, even. They have tons of Strike King products and tons of rod and reels. They're an awesome distribution company too. So for online shopping, I'd
sure.
say they're hard to beat, and then their in-person store is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, and they have like they don't have a lot of filler is one thing that I always tell people. Like if you were to put together a tackle shop with all of the juice, like if you went
Yeah,
around and you went to the boat ramps at your local lake and you're like, "Hey, what's one bait that you would have in the store?" And it's like you went around and you asked everybody on what they're actually catching fish on, like that's what's in there.
yeah, yeah. No, it has all the essentials. Yeah, they cover the bases. I was looking for a specific Demiki head, and they came out with their own bait company brand called Valor Baits,
Hmm.
and they created their own Demiki head because they didn't like this one or this one, and got the best of both worlds. And I've been throwing it, and we crushed them on it 2 days ago. Um, it was insane.
Heck yeah. That's
Yeah,
cool. I didn't
there's some really cool baits. Yeah,
I
the
guess
Valor, they call it a targeting jig, but it's a Demiki head. It's awesome.
sure. Okay. Maybe kind of a spin on the forward facing stuff possibly with that
Yeah,
name.
yeah, I would think so.
That's been a big deal, having those forward facing baits. You've seen plenty of those bigger companies doing that.
Yeah,
Let me see. Oh, Chad down here, he's headed to Gunnersville in a week. He's wanting to know if you got
nice.
any tips for him.
Throw a trap in the chatterbait. They're crushing a red trap and eating a natural colored chatterbait, shad or green pumpkin or some red in it. Yep. Get up on the grass flats and just cover water till you find them.
Heck
You'll
yeah.
you'll get into the big ones doing that.
And Chad is a hammer. He'll find them if they're there. He will find them, and
If you need a
he's
place to stay in our we got tiny homes on Airbnb. We
yeah,
have a lodge. Our tiny homes have 2 beds and they're on our trophy pond, so you can fish it. And then the lodge is there too and has 7 beds.
very cool. Yeah, that's something that I don't recall what series he's going to be fishing in that event, but I don't know if it's like a
Might be a
Hobie.
BF or no in a week.
It's
No,
probably a
sorry.
it's probably
It's
a
a kayak
kayak. I
tournament.
would imagine it's a
I think
kayak
there's a
one.
BF this coming weekend.
So there may be some kayak guys coming through. So yeah, we'll definitely
Yeah,
definitely
that'd
let
be
them know
awesome.
what you got going on down there. And
The
um,
people that hosted the KBF, I think it was the national championship, stayed at our lodge the year before last,
very cool.
and Lynette caught an 8 out of our trophy pond and a 5.5.
Oh, I do remember. Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's been open that long, huh?
yeah. We've had 2.5 years, but our lodge was open the month after we got it.
Yeah. Okay.
Listed in the lodge. Our tiny home's just done this past winter.
It's the Bassmaster Kayak Series, is what it is.
Nice,
Their national
nice,
series. So,
awesome.
and then another question here: does Mazingo have grass?
Yes. Used to have a lot more. When I moved away, it didn't have as much anymore. But I won a tournament punching the grass in
Wow.
September, October one year. We caught a bunch of frog, and then the tournament they just you'd see grass move away from your frog, but they wouldn't top the surface. So we came back a couple hours later punching and won a tournament. But
Very cool.
it doesn't. When I moved down the past 2 3 years, it didn't have any punching grass. It had scattered milfoil, and gets duckweed. Um, September, October is a really good time to throw a rivet toad, throw a frog.
Heck yeah. Chad says there's going to be 200 plus kayaks there for that event.
Nice.
And that's going to be March 3rd
Okay.
March 4th and 5th.
Awesome. Well, if you know anybody needing a place to stay, Chad, I think we have some room available. So I can share a link, John, if you want, to our tiny homes.
Yeah, absolutely. I would be happy to share that around, and hopefully we can get some people checking the place out. Maybe on their off time they can catch some big ones out of the pond there.
Yeah. We had 3 people in our tiny homes that were fishing the tournament last week and in the lodge, and they caught a 6 and some 3s and 4s.
Wow. Heck yeah. All right. Well, let me see here. Was there anything that you have coming up, maybe that you want to let us know about? Something that maybe you've been working on, or anything that you got going on with the tournaments that you have coming up? I know we're kind of going to be calling it a night here pretty quick, so I just wanted to get anything else out of here, out of the way that maybe we forgot to mention.
Sure. Yeah. So coming up, we'll be going to Clarksville, Georgia. If you're watching the YouTube videos and the tournament series, just have a little patience. It's a couple weeks behind on when we post them, but they're coming. Like I said, the Okeechobee videos will be posting this weekend. I post every Saturday, Sunday at 8 a.m., Wednesdays at 4 p.m. So that's my posting schedule. Sometimes I'll mix in an extra one here and there because I do a lot of fishing. And after Clarksville, Georgia, we'll be going to Smith Lake, and then we'll be going to Eufaula, Oklahoma, which I've never been to. And then later in the year, we'll be going to Chickamauga, the Potomac River, Maryland. Never been to the Potomac. Lake of the Ozarks, the Mississippi River up in Wisconsin. So it's going to be an exciting year.
Yeah, very cool. All right, I got that link here for you guys as well if you guys want to check that out. For any of you guys that maybe don't already have a place to stay down at Gunnersville here in the next couple weeks, make sure you check it out. If you're looking to plan a vacation or something like that as well, check them out. So you'll be right there on the water.
And we'll be doing a big silent auction. I'll be posting that in about 2 weeks on my channel, and what it is, it's lots of baits. So there'll be numbers per lot, and there'll be like 10 to 20 baits, and we're gonna start the bid at like $5 a lot. Some of them are like $30. When there's a bunch of them in there, and what we're doing with that is just a silent auction. It'll last about a week, and we're going to donate some of that to the earthquake and charity over in helping Turkey and Syria. So be on the lookout for that coming out. I'm excited to do that fundraiser.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's awesome that you're doing stuff like that and kind of giving back where you can. So I think that's important to do. But well, I want to thank you for coming in on tonight. I know you've got a super busy schedule. You're getting ready to head out in the morning. So just want to wish you. I don't want to wish you luck. I want to tell you to have fun, because that's what I do.
Thanks, John.
I don't believe in luck. I think that you make your own luck, and maybe having a little bit of faith along the way just might help you out.
Amen. Amen. That's right. I always say go catch them instead of okay, you say good luck.
Yeah.
I'm kind of the same way now.
That's cool. Yeah. I don't know. I just been that way. But anyways, dude, I want to thank you. I'm excited to have you on here. It was exciting to talk to you tonight, and I'll be rooting you on from the sidelines. And one of these days, I'm going to end up down there, and I'm going to book me a train home for sure.
That sounds good. Let me know when you come.
I will.
We'll make a trip.
Heck yeah, man. Well, you have a good one, and we'll be rooting you on.
Sounds good. Thanks so much, John. Appreciate you having me, and thanks to everybody for tuning in.
All right, man. Have a good one.
All right, you too. We'll see you.
See ya. All right, guys. Appreciate you guys for all tuning in. I'm not sure if you guys were if we were having a little bit of technical difficulties there with the video, but it seemed like the audio was coming through just fine. So really cool to have him on and just kind of tell us about some of the behind the scenes stuff. I didn't realize that he's still working a full-time job. And I think that that's something that a lot of people don't realize when they see the success that people have, whether that's on YouTube or, whatever it may be. I think that, you just don't always realize all the work that goes into it. And, I'm starting to get a glimpse of that, with just doing the YouTube stuff. And I'm obviously doing it at a very small capacity. But even at the level that I'm doing it it's time consuming, and it's a lot more time consuming than people understand. You put out a 5 or 10 minute video and you just don't realize how much effort goes into that, how much time out of your normal everyday schedule that you had to just carve out, to be able to go shoot the video. If you're doing it on the water video, you're obviously looking at taking up more time because you gotta drive to the lake, you got to spend a few hours out there. You got to drive back home. You got to, sit down and you got to edit these videos and, thumbnails. And you look at all this stuff and you look at just the amount of time that goes into it. And initially, the reward isn't always there. So I think it's something that you truly have to be passionate about. And when it comes to Andrew Nordbye and Fishing with Nordbye and his channel, that is something that really comes across when you're watching his videos. Is you can tell that he is truly passionate about fishing. Obviously, he does make sure that he is sharing his faith in these videos as well. He's always sharing Bible verses and stuff at the end of his videos, and that's something that's important to him. But I think that, that's kind of another thing that, I did find interesting as well, was that, when you asked him about his plans and how he planned to get there, and how, he even kind of just admitted on his own that he didn't have necessarily, any idea where he would be in 5 years, because he just has, faith that God is going to put him in the position that he's supposed to be in. And from hearing his story just briefly that we did, it sounds like that's exactly what happened with how he ended up on Gunnersville, there in Alabama, with his tiny home and wedding venue and that piece of property that he has right there on the state park. And he's got, 3 boat ramps on Gunnersville, just, right around the corner from his property. So I think, something like that is not something you can plan for, right? It's really not. You can't plan to own, a piece of property like that. You can always, you can say, I want to live on the lake, or you can say that I want to fish for a living, but you have to have the faith. You have to stay open-minded, because, if somebody growing up 10, 15, 20 years ago said, I want to be a professional bass angler, that path, I feel like just, it looks so very different now. And I feel like it looks different for the better. I feel like there are so many more opportunities as the fishing industry grows. And you can even tie some of this back into live scope or forward facing sonar, because, I work in the marine electronics industry. And the reason that, I get to work in the fishing industry is because of technology advancing, like live scope, and other, pieces of technology as well. But, as the industry grows, as, we sell more baits, as we sell more fishing licenses, as we sell more boats, as we sell more kayaks, there's going to become more opportunities for you and I to make a living doing something that we're truly passionate about, like fishing. And sometimes when you think about it, it kind of sounds silly to people, people that don't get it, people that aren't fishermen, that aren't anglers. They don't really understand. So it might kind of sound funny to somebody that, you want to have your life centered around fishing, something that's somebody might consider a hobby, or just kind of a pastime, right? But people like Andrew Nordbye, people like, the guests we had on last week and the guests we'll have on next week, next week we've got somebody else that's passionate about fishing coming on the show, and we're going to have somebody from the Kansas Department of Wildlife on the show. And Brian, I apologize for drawing a blank. It's Brian Sowards, and he is the fisheries director, the fisheries department director. So he's like one of the head guys at the Department of Wildlife, Kansas Department of Wildlife in the fisheries division. So we're going to talk about some really cool stuff. We're going to talk about forward-facing sonar. We're going to talk about the Alabama rig. We're going to talk about what kind of efforts are going into making the bodies of water that we fish here in Kansas more productive. How has LiveScope changed the way, what we're seeing as far as, fish being caught? Is it putting more pressure on the lake? Should we adjust our creel limits because of it? What kind of efforts are they taking for habitat, and stuff like that. So I know there's a lot of really cool stuff going on behind the scenes that we don't always get to hear about. And so I'm excited to have Brian on and talk about some of that. And he came and he talked to us at a Kansas Bass Nation event at their fall event. And he did kind of a little seminar there and talked about some things that I think you guys will be interested in, and we'll allow you guys to come on and ask questions as well. So that is something that if you guys want to be involved in that conversation, bring some questions and we'll try to answer as many of them as we can on the spot there, and possibly be able to have him back another time and answer the rest of them if he can't answer them right then and there. So just like I'm saying here, I'm kind of rambling on a little bit, but it really does all tie together. The more opportunities there are in this industry, the more chances there are for people like you and me, or, even our kids, generations to come, to be able to just do something that they're passionate about for a living. You don't have to go necessarily clock in to a 9 to 5. You don't have to go work at a retail store, in order to be involved in fishing. So just some cool opportunities out there. But again, I do want to thank Andrew Nordbye for coming on the show. Appreciate you guys all for tuning in. And there'll be tons of people that come in after the fact and watch this at a later time. So still trying to dial in like time. So, it's kind of interesting to see it. Does 8 o'clock work better? Does 9 o'clock work better? I've kind of seen it both ways. So I was kind of wondering what kind of outcome we would have tonight, whether we would get more or less. But we've been pretty consistent with 8 o'clock. So since we switched it up tonight, we probably had a few less people on here, but that's no problem at all. But I do want to thank you guys for all coming on. Want to invite you to join us next week because we've got a really cool show next week as well. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to call it a night. But if you guys are interested at all, I did put this down there in the live comment section. And if you want to go rent one of these tiny homes, there it is. So you can see it on the screen there. You can go. I'm trying to pull it up so I can show you. But there's a link to it. If you guys want to check it out, do so. If you're going to be down in that area, if you're going to be fishing Gunnersville, definitely give him a shot. And that's something that I do like to kind of put out there as well. Like if you're going to have people that are supporting your community and you have an opportunity to support them back, do so. And tonight was a great example of that. A fellow member of the Air Capital Kayak Anglers, Mr. Richard Millard, has opened up a law enforcement friendly kind of bar and grill down the street from me. And we went there for the second time tonight. They had a $1 Wing Wednesday special going on. And I've got plenty of leftover wings that I'm going to be able to take to work with me for the next couple of days. We just went all out on it. And, I think it's important if you have an opportunity to support somebody that supports your community, or a friend, whatever it may be. One example of that, you guys always hear me at these tournaments, and I'm always preaching it. Make sure you're supporting our sponsors, because they continue to come back year after year and literally give us stuff to give to you guys. So when it's time to spend some money and you need some baits, definitely look at those places. And if you're going to Guntersville, definitely check out the tiny homes from the Nordbye family down there. And I'm going to go ahead, sign off. Appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll see you next week.